If your space is really loud and it's not serving you because the items around you, or even just in your home, it's not allowing you to live into your highest and best version of yourself. And it's something that I don't think we necessarily pay enough attention to. I think that we don't give enough attention to our physical space the way that we should. And maybe because of, some of that is because we live so digitally nowadays, but there is value in really paying attention to our physical space. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Power in the Pause podcast. How are you doing today? As a reminder, please hit subscribe so that you do not miss a single episode that comes out every single week, and you will help me to reach more people because people will be able to find my show. So without any further ado, I am really looking forward to diving into a conversation today with Danijela. Danijela, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. And I'm really looking forward to our conversation today. You guys, this is a topic that I am hugely fascinated by, and I don't think I've ever talked about this on either of my podcasts before. And what we are going to talk about today is how you can unlock your entrepreneurial success using Feng Shui. So Danijela, I'm going to share a little bit more with our audience about you and why you are the expert that I had to have on my show. So Danijela is an esteemed Feng Shui and space healing master with over 20 years of experience. As the founder and CEO of the School of Spiritual Design, she teaches aspiring practitioners to tap into their intuitive abilities and create harmonious spaces. Leveraging the principles of Feng Shui, she guides high-level business owners to surpass conventional strategies and unlock their full potential. Through her transformative approach and unwavering passion, Danijela leaves a remarkable legacy of harmony, balance, and fulfillment in both individuals and spaces. Danijela, welcome to the show.
Hello, Wendy. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So let's dive in because I love Feng Shui. I don't get it. I don't know how to bring it into my office. I was saying, you guys, before we hit record, I'm like, you're probably looking at my office and having all these ideas of move this, do that. But really what I want to dive into today with you is really how does the practice of Feng Shui enable entrepreneurs to, like, by infusing Feng Shui into their office space, right? Into the space that they are creating in. How does Feng Shui allow them to sort of recharge, refocus, and allow them to really align with their highest self in their business?
Yeah. So, with Feng Shui, the most important, let's say, piece in Feng Shui is the Qi, the life force energy. And it brings us clarity, it brings us power, it brings us vitality. But Qi also brings opportunity and abundance and flow. So the most important piece in Feng Shui is really to look, how is the Qi flow? So probably everybody has heard, okay, you need to declutter to get back in flow. Yes, that is absolutely true. This is like the very first step to think about what am I surrounding myself with? Are all these items, are they filling up my space, my business, right? So just make this connection. Your space is mirroring who you are, what you do. Is your life filled with stuff or not? So, and this is also the very first step I would always recommend is like, if you want to grow in your business, is your space already filled up with old things, with old clients, with whatever? And is it now time to release something to create space? Because this is the very first step we need to do in order to call in new things. You just need more space, right? So, and just like really, it's time to, when you start this journey with me or with Feng Shui, the first thing is, as I said, before you bring in things, just first let go and create space so that the Qi can flow again. So this would be the very, very first step in this journey.
That's so interesting. And it makes so much sense because everything is made up of energy, right? So if there are things in your space that are taking up energy, right, it's not allowing the chi to flow. So, and it's making me think of all these things that I'm like, oh my God, I need to do another pass through my office because, as you know, like I've transitioned my business, right? Like I've gone from, I've transitioned out of my divorce business. I'm now into, really working with entrepreneurs and tapping into their intuition. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my God, I probably have books. I have old client files in here that are still, divorce connected, which is still, it's the energy of what I've walked away from. And I've got to give space and give what I'm even hearing. It's like, I've got to give a new breath to my space. Or it's almost like it's like suffocating because that's still here. And like the energy is not flowing the way that it should, which I would imagine also translates into abundance, clients, etc. So what are some Feng Shui techniques or principles that myself and other entrepreneurs listening can create or implement in their spaces?
I love to keep it simple because as busy people, we do have many things on our plate. So, and feng shui can be and is really deep and it is complicated, but if you break it down to the most important pieces, it's really, really very simple. So I have developed this concept of future self in your space with feng shui. And this means like when you let go of things of which are based in the past and they're not fitting like to your new business, just as you explained, Wendy, what is the next step? First, you let go of the past, then you're in the present, and then it's like, okay, where do I want to go? Like we know all this, who is my perfect client, who's my soulmate client, what are my strategies? But in feng shui, in this concept, it's like, okay, who do I want to be in the future? The future selfing concept is not tied to feng shui. It's something, it's an own learning or teaching about how we can create our future. But why not take this teaching and bring it into our space? So if one day, for example, if your vision is to become a very successful business coach, so when you reach the next step, how do you feel? And how does this translate into your space? So like really simple things, like what are the pens you're writing with? What kind of desk do you have? What kind of books are in your space? What kind of pictures of paintings are in your space? So just, because our space is impacting us on the subconscious level all the time. 24 hours, like 24/7, all the time. And we don't even see, one of my biggest jobs when I go into consultations is to ask people, okay, this painting, what does it mean? Oh, I have it back then, blah, blah, blah. They have the whole story. I'm like, okay, how is this resonating with your future? Oh, not at all. Okay, so let's go. Let it go. And let's look for a picture or a painting which is more in alignment with your future self. So this, if you look into books, it's like, oh, Danijela, we cannot find it. Like, what is it based in? We cannot find anything about it in books or anything. But if you look deep, this is what feng shui is about. It's creating spaces which is in alignment with who you are and also who you want to be. And it's about releasing the past.
That's so powerful. And like, even as you're talking, I'm like, do I still want this painting? I'm obsessed with that one. Like, this makes so much sense. And it's even just bringing up for me, like, how did you get into this? Like, how did this start for you? Clearly, you've been doing this for a long time. How have you created this business for yourself? And how has, I mean, not only how has it impacted you, but how is this methodology, let's call it, or just this way of being, how do you see this impacting not just you, but also the clients that you get to work with?
So, the journey to becoming a Feng Shui master is not one very like out of the book, right? So I studied economics at the University of Applied Sciences, and I was just like 26 when I finished, and I was in a place where I couldn't find a job. I was married. We had a little child, and I just couldn't understand the world because my goal I was working towards for my whole like life, learning and studying and whatever, simply didn't come true. And I was really at the very lowest point of my life. And then I read something about how decluttering your space can impact your life. And Wendy, I didn't believe a word. It's 2004, right? It's like, what is this? And you have to imagine myself like marketing, strategy, like there economics, right. No spirituality in my life at all. So
no, you're like analyzer. You're like numbers driven, totally. Research driven. You're like, where are the facts?
Right. And, like, hey, telling me I declutter my space and my life is going to flow is like, just no way. So, but it didn't get better. Right. So I was working at a fast food restaurant. Just so crazy when I think about it. And one day, it was Friday, when I got back home, I told my husband, there is this thing with decluttering and let's try it. And he's like, where do we have clutter? Because our apartment tiny and it was tidied and everything. And then we started and, oh my God, we had so many things. I was just like, after those 2 weeks, oh my God. You see, my words are failing me. I don't even know how to express it. The interesting thing was that on Monday and Tuesday, we received amount of money, which we were waiting for. It was a payment from the government, whatever. And we waited for this for like 6 months. And we can call it coincidence. I call it synchronicity. Mm-hmm. And it arrived, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday. And the other day, one day later, we got an invitation to move into a bigger apartment at a nicer city, at a nicer part of the city. So for me, it was like, oh my God, there is something behind it. And I was only 26. And this is how I started my journey. Wow. And with time, it's not 20 years ago, but in the beginning, I was doing Feng Shui. I was Danijela and I was doing Feng Shui. By now, I am Feng Shui. It's a philosophy of life. It's not just, okay, now I need to move my furniture a little bit so that no, it's just like you have the concept of the chi flow. And, what I also want to share is like what you see is what you get is the most important word in, not the most, one of the most important concepts in Feng Shui, which is also in alignment with the future selfing I just explained, because what you see is what you get. When you open your door from your home, what do you see? When you look up from your desk, from your computer, what do you see? When you go to sleep, what do you see? Like what you see is what you get. And if these were glasses and you would go through your office or through your home with, okay, what I see is what I get, I bet that this will help you so much in letting go and decluttering things, because you will realize, oh, what I see, I really don't want to have in my life anymore. But your subconscious is constantly impacted by all these different things.
That's so interesting. I would guess that a lot of people don't think this way. Even me, just like looking up from my desk right now, I'm like, I've got my light and I've got books in my bookshelf. I've got a picture of my 2 kids. But even that, I'm like, is that really what I want to be looking at? Is that really serving me? Right. And so what are some of like the benefits or, the results, or like the one you just shared is incredible, right? The second you guys decluttered, all of a sudden it allowed the money to flow in, right? So when your clients have integrated Feng Shui into their homes, into their business environments, what are some of the significant benefits or, creativity that has come through that you have been able to witness that can really inspire people and show them the power that this has for bringing abundance into their life?
Yeah. Wendy, Feng Shui is one piece of the puzzle. It's not the ultimate solution. But mostly people are not, they have a picture. They would like, for me, the picture is I work on my spiritual self. I work on my body. I work like personal development in every direction. And I forget, like, I have a perfect picture, but one piece is missing, and this is the space. So when we turn to our space, it's just adding to what we are already doing. Feng Shui is not going to, I remember my first business coach, when I finished my certification, I was like, I need to meditate. I need to visualize. I need to do this. And she's like, well, Danijela, while you're meditating, a sack of money is not going to land in your lap. So get up and get a strategy and, just do the normal things. So, Feng Shui, what it did for my clients, one of the biggest experiences where I'm so grateful for is for a family wanted to get pregnant together. Like they had already 2 kids and it didn't really work well. And they bought a home. And as we started to work on this home with Feng Shui, the woman got pregnant. And it took them like a year to rebuild and refurnish and everything. And they moved into the home. And then I think the kid was born before they moved. But, the interesting thing was the moment she connected with me and she connected to the Feng Shui, we had both the feeling that the gate was opening. It's for something new. So, and we are still very much, she even did a certification with me. So we are still very connected. And she also says, well, Danijela, we can say it's coincidence again, but for me, it's a synchronicity.
Yeah.
So this is we can talk about money and success, but, greeting a child into the family is one of the most precious things a human can experience. And this dream becoming true for this family is one of the highest, but how do you say it? It's like the highest feelings of gratefulness for this Feng Shui life philosophy I have ever experienced.
Yeah. And I mean, what I'm hearing is it creates an abundance of love. Like it doesn't just, whatever people want abundance of in their life, this is a way that they can really create that. And another piece that I want to, bring into this too is, your intuition plays a role in this, right? Like knowing how to, be in the embodiment of your future self, right? Creating that space to allow that flow to come in really requires you to tap into your intuition. And that is my language, right? That is, to me, like your intuition is really what sets you apart from everybody else in terms of creating whatever abundance looks like in your life. So how have you seen intuition really play a role in this and in the work that you do?
It's the thing is that you lower the noise of everyday life when your space becomes an oasis. And then, of course, you can hear your intuition more clearly. It's not like, oh, did I hear, didn't I? Or I was distracted. We all know the things. And when your home or your space, your office, your home become a sanctuary, there is this peacefulness. And then the intuition can speak to you. And this is also how does Feng Shui create abundance? It creates abundance, it creates flow and opportunities because you are more aware, because you are more awake. You're just like, you're listening, you're hearing, you have this connection to your intuition, and then you can take inspired action from this point of view. And this is really, you can see it's not difficult to put it into words, but there are no words to put this magic into words. I don't know if this makes sense, but things which are happening, which can evolve and which can expand and are difficult to put into words. And when I was training with the Mamos in Costa Rica a few years ago, they were training. I'm in a training for Earthkeeper certification, and it's old wisdom they're giving us. And they shared, and this is what I want to share here because I'm really making words today. Is they said the reason why natives are talking in pictures is because pictures don't lose information. And this is for me like, okay, Feng Shui is a very old teaching. It's like 5,000 years old. And we are trying to put this complex concept into words, which means it's like, okay, we will never be successful in it. But still, I think having so many consultations and working with so many people from 3 different continents, I'm pretty good at putting things into words. But sometimes to get circle back to your question with the intuition, sometimes, Wendy, it's just like stop speaking and start listening.
Yeah. Oh, that is like, you just mic dropped the end of this episode, right? That's what this is about, right? That is why I love this podcast, right? Because what people don't understand is that the acceleration happens in the quiet. So start listening more and stop talking. And if you like, and what I'm also hearing coming through kind of, for us to kind of wrap up this episode is, if your space is really loud and it's not serving you because the items around you, or even just in your home, it's not allowing you to live into your highest and best version of yourself. And it's something that I don't think we necessarily pay enough attention to. I think that we don't give enough attention to our physical space the way that we should. And maybe because of, some of that is because we live so digitally nowadays, but there is value in really paying attention to our physical space. Oh my God, Danijela, I love you. I love the work that you do. I think this is an absolutely fascinating topic. And I want to make sure that people can find you, connect with you, learn more from you. So where is the best place for people to find and connect with you?
Okay, thank you so much. So the best way you can find me on Instagram, it's unfolding_space_en for English, or on my website, unfolding-space.com. And we also send you a link with some little things for your audience where they can dive deeper into connecting with their space, into Feng Shui. So this is a package we have created just for your listeners, so that they can take the journey from this place and take it further.
So generous. You guys, all of this is going to be in our show notes today. Danijela, thank you so much for being here and for truly doing this work that you do in the world. More people need to be paying attention to this. And I'm really, truly just very honored and humbled for you to be here and to share today. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for invitation from the bottom of my heart. Wendy.
Yeah,
Thank
of
you.
course. Of course. And you guys, wow, I am getting goosebumps, and I'm even just looking at myself in the Zoom camera and going, oh my God, I have so much decluttering to do in my home, in my office space. And ultimately, what I learned from today's episode, and I hope that you guys got some nuggets, maybe you got this too, but really what is important is not just paying attention to your mind and your thoughts, but really thinking about how the physical items in your space are impacting that as well, and to see the power that those items have in your ability to pause and to reflect and to listen. So thank you all so much for tuning into today's episode. As a reminder, please do not forget to hit subscribe so that you do not miss any more episodes. Thank you for tuning in today. Sending you all so much love and light always. Mwah. Bye, everybody.